Good morning. Welcome to the University of Bristol. Thank you all for coming and for all of you who are online. I'm David Gordon. I am the Professor of Social Justice at the University of Bristol. And we have Hal around, so I'm going to write this down. And I've been working with UNICEF for 25 years or so, trying to improve the measurement of poverty for children and their families. And I'm delighted that you've all managed to come to the University of Bristol today or to join us online. And we're expecting over the course of 2 days about 600 people who've registered online and over the 2 days almost 100 people who've registered in person to attend. So this is a far bigger event than we had originally imagined. And 20 years ago, when the last one happened, there were about 50 people in the new school in a very cozy event. And it just shows how much the use of the mix has expanded and how important it's been to tracking the lives of children and their families in most of the low and middle income countries and some of the high income countries of the world. So I'm delighted to have helped as a small part with Mix and my colleagues in the University of Bristol. And I'm delighted that this conference, which is spanning the gamut of social and natural sciences, as well as medical sciences, is being held here at the university, hosted here by the University of Bristol today. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Joe in a minute, but I need to tell you some important things. Because there are so many people and there are so many diverse streams, there are 4 parallel streams at times, and because some of them, there have been so many excellent papers in certain streams, we're going to ask you to keep to time. And so when I'm sharing, I'm going to use a British invention, which I think everyone in the world now understands. This is a 5-minute warning, and this is stop. Universal language.
You got a whistle.
That comes, I think, after 5 minutes after you won't stop. Okay, so there's a laser pointer for those who need it. We're going to be recording this in 2 ways. It's streaming online, so please stay near this webcam so people can hear you online and see you. We're also going to be taking a high resolution video using the university's lecture system because this just as a backup, and also so we have a high resolution copy of your talk. Okay, so there'll be 2 systems recording you, and once we manage to process the 100 or so videos, they'll all be available online as a permanent record and for you to share with your friends and family at Christmas or Eid or other celebrations. Okay, we have had a number of problems with the first day. Our keynote speaker went to the airport yesterday and his plane was cancelled. So the keynote speech will be at the end of the conference on the 2nd day rather than at 11:30 today. So you're going to have a long break to enjoy the wonderful weather in Bristol. So I'm sorry about that. We tried to rearrange the sessions late yesterday afternoon, but it proved impossible. There are too many people, so I'm sorry about that. The first sessions you can take much longer than the time because you've got an extra hour if you want to speak for longer. Okay. I'm going to hand you over to my colleague Joe, who's going to introduce you to the team and people who can help you. And then I'm going to pretend to be the Pro-Vice Chancellor for Global Engagement at the University of Bristol, who was meant to be given this welcome talk because he unfortunately has an urgent family matter which he had to deal with this morning. Enrique Delamónica will welcome you on behalf of UNICEF. But Joe will first of all give you the usual talks about if the fire alarm goes off, you need to run screaming from the building, where the toilets are, and all the other important issues you need to know. Yeah.
Do I need the microphone? Well, thank you very much, David. And I'm hoping that he's not going to stand there and give me the red card. Not this early on in the day anyway. But yeah, my name is Joe Jazeski and I work for the Bristol Poverty Institute as our development associate. So I help forward and co-create the initiatives of our institute. So I'm delighted to be here and I'm delighted to welcome you all here today. It's a pleasure to have you and we're delighted to be co-hosting along with UNICEF. Yeah. So before I get into a bit about what we do, just first of all, a bit of housekeeping, logistical things. So the fire alarm test was earlier. We didn't have to evacuate. That's been done now. So there shouldn't be another one today or tomorrow. So if the alarm does sound from now on for 10 seconds or more, then it is a real alarm. So please do evacuate. Take it seriously. There's a slide in a couple of slides time which will show you exactly how to exit the building as fast as possible. Yeah, and for fire safety reasons as well, if I could please ask you all to sign in at the front desk. I'm sure you've all seen the sign-in area at the front there, and to write a little name badge just so that we can all get to know each other, and also that indicates that you have signed in. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, the assembly point is actually, I believe, outside here in this, it's a little sort of courtyard there. So I believe the assembly point is down there. So there's various routes out, which I'll show you in a second. And the toilets are back, out and left. And if you go straight on and left and right, so they're sort of that way and keep going. Lunch will be provided, and again, that's just outside. You've already seen where the pastries and the coffee is. So please help yourself, make yourselves as comfortable as possible, and that's where lunch will be served as well later on. We will be taking some photos throughout the day, so please just be aware of that. If you'd rather not be in photos, then please let one of the team know, and we'll do our best not to include you and show your face and things like that. So the evacuation routes, we're in the green room, as you can see. So yeah, there's the red route out, or there's the yellow route out. The red one is the accessible route, so that's all on the same level. And ultimately, you just keep going roughly that way, and you should eventually get out, and you'd have to walk all the way around here. But there is alternatively this fire exit door here, which is the yellow route. You go down one flight and then out and round back there. Yeah, and the toilets, as I said, are that way, and they're just up. So introducing our team, obviously you've met David Gordon already. We also have our institute manager, Dr. Lauren Winch, who's there. And we have Magdalena, who I'm sure a lot of you all know because I know you've been organising today's event with her. And we have Tracy Jarvis, who's our senior administrator as well. We also have a couple of willing helpers today. We have Alam, and I don't know if you can see him, he's behind the pillar there, but he is there. And we have May as well. So please do come and say hello. If you need anything at all, please come and find us. So just a quick few slides about our institute. So we are the Bristol Poverty Institute, or BPI for short. We were established in 2017. And basically everything we do is geared towards SDG 1, so Global Sustainable Development Goal 1, which is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. So we want to grow and develop and support the poverty and poverty relevant research community at the University of Bristol and beyond with the community and our partners. We want to facilitate interdisciplinary approaches and explore the interface of different social, political and environmental dimensions of poverty and social justice. So ultimately, we want to translate all of that into evidence-informed policy and practice. That's our ultimate aim. And of course, you can visit the BPI website if you want find out any more information, or you can come and speak to us. We're all very friendly. We'd be delighted to talk to you more about what we do. So that's it really. This is just some contact details. Again, our website. You can jot down our email address. please feel free to stay in touch with us after this event. But we're very much looking forward to the next 2 days. We've got some brilliant speakers, and we hope it will be intriguing and informative and interesting, and we can all thoroughly enjoy it. So yes, talk to you later. Thanks very much.
Okay, I'm going to pretend to be Professor Acuto now, who unfortunately can't be with us this morning, although he hopes to come along later in the day. And I'm going to try and give you an idea of what he would have told you to welcome you to the University of Bristol. So, University of Bristol is a public university, like almost all universities in the United Kingdom. We're funded ultimately by the government and the people. And as such, we have a civic and international responsibility. It was founded over 100 years ago at the beginning of the 20th century, in the days of the British Empire, when Britain was a colonial power that dominated the lives of hundreds of millions of people in many countries. And we cannot apologize enough for all the terrible things that were done during those periods. It was the first university in its charter. There was a whole range of universities set up in the United Kingdom at the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century. It was the first university in its charter to have human rights and non-discrimination written into its foundation document. So it gave degrees to women and to what we call now ethnic minorities and people with different religious faiths, whereas previously British universities had denied women and Jews and other ethnic minorities the right to get degrees. So our foundation document is to support what we now call fundamental human rights, and the university was instrumental in supporting the first human rights instrument 100 years ago, the Declaration of the Rights of the Child, adopted by the League of Nations. And we hope in November, on the 100th anniversary of the 26th, that we will be holding a conference to commemorate and celebrate the adoption of the Declaration of the Rights of the Child, and to talk about the next 100 years of child and family rights. There are a large number of sessions you'll see from the programme being run today, and Professor Acuto is a geographer who looks at inequalities in health and inequalities by geographical area. I'm not going to do the bit of where he would describe his own research, but over the past 30 years, as you know, 118 countries has carried out over 350 mixed surveys, and it represents the preeminent global source of information on the lives of children and their families, and in particular for monitoring progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. And the University of Bristol is committed as a corporate body to delivering on the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly in the areas where it has expertise in climate change, health, culture and creativity, social justice, and also in using digital technology. As I said, we have worked with UNICEF over several decades to improve the measurement of child poverty, but we also work with UNICEF in the UK on issues. For example, we've done recent work on the number of food banks that have been opened up, that are opening in schools because of the terrible austerity measures that have happened in the UK over the past 14 years. We hope that that will be back. We are a truly globally engaged university. We have students from over 100 countries and staff from over 100 countries. One of the advantages of the guests that having had the empire is that many people in the world speak English, and many people want to come and study in the UK, and we welcome students and staff from all over the world. We're truly multicultural, we're truly diverse, and that gives a huge strength to the university. We actively try to engage with our partners around the world. Evidence of this is that the Times Education recently ranked all the universities in the world, or 2,500 of the major universities in the world, by their contribution to meeting the Sustainable Development Goals. And we were very proud that we were in the top, amongst the top 100 universities in the world for SDG 1, no poverty, for our contribution to SDG 2, zero hunger, for our contribution to SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, which Professor Akuto contributes to, for SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, and particularly we were ranked at 21st for our contribution to SDG 17, partnerships for delivering on the SDG goals. This conference is one of our ways that we're hoping to build on this successful partnership model that we've generated. My colleagues in the Pivoli Africa Research Centre have been working for the past year on developing a pact to help us improve our relationships when we work with colleagues, particularly in Africa and other low-income countries. This mechanism by which we will share resources and share credit and help have more stable and fair working relationships has been discussed and adopted by the African Union. So we're hoping to contribute not just in the research we do, but in the mechanisms by which we do that to make sure that they're non-exploitative and non-discriminatory, and we have fair research bases. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand you over to Enrique now to welcome you on behalf of UNICEF.
Thank you, Dave. Good morning. My name is Enrique Delamónica, but that's not the most important thing because I'm here to welcome all of you on behalf of UNICEF. And part of what I'm going to say is on behalf of UNICEF and the boss of my boss and the boss of the mixed team, who is the chief statistician of UNICEF. So welcome everybody here in person and the colleagues online. The first thing I want to do is to thank the University of Bristol for helping us, for cooperating with us, not only on the work and the analysis of mix in general, but on co-organizing this conference. So thank you very much to the university and everybody involved. As an aside, I'm going to say this on my behalf, my personal behalf. Thank you, Dave, very much for all your help and your collaboration. We have been friends for a couple of decades, and it's a pleasure to keep on working with you. So thank you very much. Back to my official remarks. I want to thank our own mix team. They are the ones carrying forward the activities on these household surveys to understand the situation of children and women. It's an activity in UNICEF that has been going on for a while. I'm going to say a couple of words about that in a little bit, but it's certainly one of the most important things that we do in UNICEF to position the situation of children and the evidence about the situation of children, first and foremost, in the hands of governments and other partners that work on behalf of realizing the rights of children. We cannot realize the rights of children if we don't have evidence to guide the programmatic applications and the policies. So I want to thank the team, and I want to stress the big efforts that the whole team has been making in the last few weeks and days and sleepless nights that I know, because I have been witness of the whole team working on making this conference a reality and a success. I also want to thank the presenters, everybody that is online and here who have shown interest in using our mixed data to further analysis and knowledge. So you're going to make this conference a success with your presentation. So thank you very much. And thank you also those online who are not presenting, but are paying attention, are listening, and willing to participate with your questions and comments. For the next point, I want to say a little bit about history, but not about the history of mix. We're going to have more discussion about that by my very, very good friend Attila, who's the mix coordinator. You will see there is a little bit of an underlying theme about friendship here. So, you know, there is Dave, there is Attila, our mix coordinator. We have also been working for many decades together. So he's going to talk a little bit more about the specifics of mix. What I want to talk about is the history of the conference. Because in a way, this conference started 20 years ago. It was 20 years ago, as Dave mentioned, that we had a similar meeting in New York. It was 2004. And it was organized by UNICEF, obviously, and the New School for Social Research, University in New York, and by my very good friend, Alberto Minujín. I told you there is a thing here. So Alberto Minujín and I were working at UNICEF at the time, and it was early 2002, 2003. We were in the midst of the second round of mix. The first one was in 1995. 2000 was the second one. 2000 was the first one where we were making public access for the microdata of the mix. And what we felt was that we needed to promote the use of this data because we were getting very good reports summarizing in tables all the results, but we're just scratching the surface of the wealth of information and the possibility for analysis that the mixed data provided. So we thought, why don't we have a call for papers and we tell people, as long as you use mix to do your research, come to New York. And we did that. And we had something like 25, 30 presentations. And have we succeeded? Have we succeeded in promoting the use of mix? There are currently, I don't know the exact number, I will have to excuse myself, but more than 6 or 7,000 published articles, if you Google it, that use mixed data. We also have, as a result of this conference, a book that was published at the time, 20 years ago. And we intend to keep an eye on the presentations that are going to be made between today and tomorrow to select some of the presentations to convert them into chapters so we can have another book. No pressure. Just go on with your presentations leisurely, but we're keeping an eye on what you're doing and what you're saying. With that, let me say lots of good luck with the presentations, with the sessions, with the conference, and enjoy yourselves. Thank you very much.